Hello, welcome to Hollywood Headlines. I'm your host, Paige Davis, and on tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest news in Hollywood, starting with the untimely death of Liam Payne. Hollywood Headlines starts now. Before we get into the show, I would like to take a moment to thank Rizzo for being today's guest. Liam Payne, one of the former members of One Direction and notable solo recording artist, died on Wednesday, October 16th at the age of 31. His death was confirmed by Argentinian police as they reported that the cause of death was from Payne falling from the third-floor balcony of a hotel in the city of Buenos Aires. When emergency services responded, they confirmed that he had no pulse. After sustaining multiple internal injuries, many of his fans, as well as celebrities, have poured tributes to Liam, expressing their remorse over how unexpected this death was. Rita Ora, who was one of Payne's collaborators in the song For You, stated that Liam, quote, had the kindest soul and that he was such a joy to be around on and off stage, end quote. This is still a developing story as more information regarding his death will continue to be released throughout the next week. Our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and his fans who are processing this unexpected loss. Peach, were you a fan of Liam Payne or even One Direction?
I was more of a casual fan growing up, but I would argue that One Direction was a really big part of my childhood. Like, just all of the girls my age were very into it. The kind of boy band era was, like, very significant. So I would argue that this has been a very significant death just, like, culturally, especially for our generation.
Yeah, I would compare it to, like, when John Lennon passed away and stuff
absolutely.
like that. It's very, very comparable to that sort of thing. It's the John Lennon of our generation, as I've been hearing.
Yeah,
all over the
absolutely.
internet, so.
One Direction has very often been compared to the Beatles, like the modern day Beatles, just both from where they're located and also just their success, the whole boy band aspect of it. And just like the female fan reaction is very similar to like the
100%.
Beatlemania of the 60s.
100%. I also like, the only album I actually know in full by One Direction is Four. That is the only album I know in full by One Direction. You guys should go give it a listen because Four is amazing. And my favorite song, I'm trying to think what my favorite song off that album is. I've been really into Clouds. I really like Clouds. Clouds is so good.
Yeah, I think One Direction in terms of like the songs that always are going to stick out the most to me, like Story of My Life, What Makes You Beautiful, just like they're classics, I would
Literally,
argue.
so true. And do you think that his death will affect the music industry as a whole?
I think so, definitely. I mean, considering that we're comparing this to like a Beatles death, essentially, I think that there's going to be a shift in the industry and the reaction to it, as well as our reaction to like how we treat boy bands, how we treat members.
100%.
Yeah.
Like also taking mental health into account in this.
Yeah,
as
mental
well.
health is an incredibly important part of this.
100%. Music industry powerhouse Taylor Swift is making an exciting move in commemoration of the final leg of the Eras Tour. She released an official Eras Tour book filled with personal reflections, behind-the-scenes photos, and fans at the shows. But that's not all she's releasing. She's also dropping the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, on CD and vinyl. This is big news, considering she did not do this for Midnight's 3 a.m. edition, while she did do a MetLife Stadium show exclusive 3 a.m. edition CD. It was missing a few songs off of the deluxe. All of these items will be available exclusively at Target starting November 29th, which happens to be Black Friday. Peach, are you a fan of Taylor Swift? And do you plan on purchasing the vinyl or the CD?
I actually am a Taylor Swift fan. I saw her the first leg of the Eras Tour.
I don't want to talk about it.
But I'm actually not sure. I did purchase the vinyl of the original Tortured Poets Department that went out. But
What copy do you have?
it's the Target copy, but I think
Okay.
it's like that first one that she released. It's only got the first 13 songs on it. It's not the full album.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, the, what's it called?
The manuscript, whatever.
Yeah, the manuscript.
And I'm unsure if I want to purchase it because I've definitely noticed a trend, not just with Taylor Swift, but a lot of different artists like continuously putting out more vinyls and more merch that's like related to their deluxe music instead of just kind of releasing it all together, especially with the album being as big as it is. Like I kind of had wished they would have released it either sooner or with the original release because it makes me wonder if I want to spend another $40 to $60 on an album that I already kind of have.
Yeah, I already saw a price leak and it said that it was going to be $59.99, which honestly isn't terrible because I have Noah Khan's Will I'll Be Here Forever deluxe, like the deluxe edition, like thing, and it was 65. But
Yeah,
that was
that's
before
steep.
shipping. Shipping was like 80, and he's dropping another one with all the features on it around Record Store Day, and that one was probably gonna be like $80. But
Yeah.
I love Taylor Swift too. She's my slay, and I probably do plan on buying the vinyl as well.
Just let me know how it is.
I will let you know. When we come back from the break, we will be talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hollywood Headlines will be right back. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation, located in Cleveland, Ohio, held their yearly induction week from October 13th to October 20th, with the induction ceremony held on the 19th. Held at the iconic Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum, the ceremony inducts iconic music legends every year, from the early days of rock to those musicians impacting the music industry. This year, we'll see the induction of iconic names such as Cher, Mary J. Blige, and Dave Matthews Band. Additionally, metal singer Ozzy Osbourne, best known for his work with Black Sabbath, will be inducted for a second time for his solo career. The ceremony will also see recognition for artists like Jimmy Buffett and performances from both the inducted artists and big names they inspired. Peach, who's your favorite of the artists being inducted?
Probably Ozzy Osbourne. I'm a big metal fan. I know I just mentioned I like Taylor Swift, but I've got a big category, so I'm quite excited to see him in there. I know he was already in his band, but it's cool to see him as a solo artist. Also, I'm excited about Cher. I'm surprised she wasn't in there.
That's very exciting for her because I feel like she's such like a pop icon.
Such an iconic artist.
Exactly.
Like, been around for such a long time. I'm kind of surprised she wasn't already there.
Yeah, but you know who is in there? Taylor
Swift.
Swift. She's in there. And have you ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I haven't, unfortunately, but it's definitely like a bucket list place to check out.
It is super cool. I've been there, and it's super cool. I went when I was in like the summer between 8th and 9th grade, and it was super cool. I was just like, there was so much to look at and so much to like see and like take in. I really liked it. It's super cool. It's such a cool place. I feel like everybody should go at least once.
Yeah.
I wish I would have went like a little, like when I had more of an appreciation for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but my few of my friends' parents went this past summer, and they sent me some pictures of the exhibits that of her stuff, and I was like, oh, thanks guys, appreciate it.
At least we have the internet and we can look up what they look like.
So true, guys, so true. The internet is a useful tool. Sydney Sweeney, acclaimed Euphoria and Anyone But You actress, has signed on to the movie adaptation of Frida McFadden's best-selling novel, The Housemaid. The psychological thriller movie adaptation stars Amanda Seyfried, the actress from Mamma Mia. Sweeney is set to play Millie, a struggling young woman with a criminal past, who takes a job of housekeeper. Seyfried is set to play Nina, who is a wealthy wife. The film is currently in pre-production with Lionsgate Studios. The studio is best known for the Hunger Games trilogy. The chair of Lionsgate, Adam Fogelson, said in a statement, quote, "I'm thrilled to have The Housemaid join our upcoming slate. A great filmmaker and a great cast with a great script from a great book is a terrific place to start my prior work experiences. With Paul and Amanda have nothing short of spectacular, and Sydney is as talented and compelling as can be." End quote. Peach, have you read The Housemaid?
I have not read The Housemaid, but I've heard a little bit about it here and there. I'm a fan of like psychological thrillers. I'm excited to see, because I've heard some people's perceptions of the book is it's a little bit like LGBT coded, so I'm curious if that's something they're going to explore in the movie.
Ooh, and does that mean you're going to go see the movie then?
I am definitely planning on seeing it. I'm just a big fan of psychological thrillers in general, and I'm excited to see Sydney Sweeney kind of branch off into more of like a horror movie thriller career, especially after Immaculate.
Exactly. I really liked her in Immaculate too.
Yeah,
That
me
was
too.
really good. I was like, okay, slay that queen, because it was like you said, it was like a psychological horror. It was really, really interesting, and I really liked it. So I'm excited to see her in another horror movie.
Yeah, I think I'm also just excited to see some female-centric horror. There's just not enough of it,
So true.
It's exciting to have 2 female leads for it.
Exactly. And Amanda Seyfried, I love Amanda Seyfried. So I'm very excited. And if you don't also know, she also was in Mean Girls too.
One of the many classics she's been in.
She's such an icon. I love Amanda Seyfried. So I'm very excited to see Amanda and Sweeney in this.
Absolutely.
So slay. When we come back from the break, we'll be sharing a special SNL package that our Hollywood Headlines producers created. Hollywood Headlines will be right back. Welcome back. On October 11th, the highly anticipated Saturday night movie released in theaters nationwide. Let's see what Sarah and Kevin, our local SNL superfans, thought of the movie.
Hi, welcome to our first edition of Producer's Package. Today, Kevin and I are going to be talking about the new SNL movie and all the things that we liked about this amazing, spectacular, wonderful movie.
Yes, I love this movie as well, and I'm going to get things started with my top 5. So number 1 on the list has got to be Dylan O'Brien's jorts. As you all know, Dylan O'Brien played Dan Aykroyd in the movie, and that was very unexpected, even though I've seen the package before.
I love
his jorts were crazy. He was so embarrassed too. What's up?
His mustache.
Oh, his
and
stash?
the jorts.
Perfect combo.
Loved
If
it.
you're dressing up as anyone for Halloween, you gotta be him. I might do it as well. Spoiler alert.
You heard it here.
You're here first, folks. We're like, my second thing on my top 5 is the camera movement. I absolutely loved, especially in the first shot of the film, of it just starting in the like entrance of the studio, and then it keeps going. No jump cuts, no like fade out, fade in, whatever. Just keeps going, and I feel like that's such a rarity nowadays in the entertainment industry. And then the acting, mimicking the people, like really know him from that, and just going from that to his impression of Dan Aykroyd, which is very difficult to master, even though it may look easy at first. He did a stellar job. He had to kind of like sound completely different too, and the way he like did it with his voice, and just it made me feel like it was like the actual Dan Aykroyd, which is like peak acting on my part. Everyone else did great too, but Dan Aykroyd was a star for me. A funny thing, so that was my 4th of my top 5, was John Belushi falling while ice skating, because that's so real, so true, so for real. I'm also a bad ice skater, so John Belushi,
Preach.
I relate to you, King. So shout out John Belushi for falling on the ice skating rink, so true king. And then my final thing, the llama cameo, because minor spoiler, the llama, like they thought they were going to use it in a skit. They didn't end up using it. They kept bringing it back. And I love when Nicholas Braun's Andy Kaufman, he was also Jim Henson too. He was basically just like, you are so fluffy, which was crazy because the llama was never used, which made me feel a little bit sad. So that's my top 5. Sarah, why don't you do your top 5?
All right, starting off with a hot take. Chevy Chase, the actor who played Chevy Chase, made me like Chevy Chase. I know, terrible. However, I can see why he became famous and why he's funny. I loved him in Christmas Vacation, and I low-key loved him being played in this movie. Spoilers, we already said that.
Yeah, I said that.
But Willem Dafoe was Dafoe in the movie.
So true.
He was the bad guy.
Truer words couldn't have been said.
And I love when he plays these roles. I love when he's the nemesis. He's plotting against our protagonist. I love it. The amount of cigarettes and drugs present, I felt was very historically accurate.
Yes.
The very first night of SNL.
Exactly.
A lot of smoking indoors. That was not a rule.
Yep.
I'm sensing a lot of bad lungs, but
yes.
I respect the dedication to costuming, Kevin.
I love the costuming.
The hair
it
and
was so good.
Team, like all of it, made me feel like I was watching it live.
I was transported to the 1970s.
Me as well.
Let's listen to
I
Van
just loved
Morrison.
it. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Their wigs.
Real.
Their costumes, so
Real.
authentically 70s.
Real.
Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better.
My final reason is everyone was so stressed. And that really just captures
That's too
how
real.
it is to work behind the scenes or produce something. Nothing is ever going right.
No.
Even if it goes right 100 times in rehearsal, something always happens on opening
Something
night.
always happens. Always says.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. This is me and Kevin's top 10 reasons why we loved the SNL 1975 movie, and you should go watch it.
You should go watch it.
Well, that's all we have for tonight's episode, but make sure to come back next week for the latest news in Hollywood. A big thank you to Rizzo for coming on today's show. I'm Paige Davis. Have a great weekend, Millersville.